ArtFreak Productions treats media like a psychological environment, not a product. Each piece is engineered less as content and more as a condition you temporarily inhabit.
Categories aren't genres so much as symptom clusters, intake files, introductions, and orientation pieces. These are the deceptively calm videos, clean visuals, measured narration, institutional language. They explain what this place is, while quietly undermining the explanation. Logos flicker. Statements contradict themselves. You're being welcomed and evaluated at the same time. These pieces set the tone. Trust is optional. Observation is mandatory.
The question driving it isn't, what does this say, but what does this do to someone while it's happening? Formats and forms. The output jumps across formats on purpose.
Living reproductions, art recreations that refuse to behave like copies, paintings. Breeze, digital pieces subtly mutate familiar imagery. Gains micromovements that make your brain hesitate. These works lean hard into the idea that reproduction isn't preservation, it's contamination.
Short-form videos that look like ads, but behave like intrusive thoughts. Long-form pieces that resemble documentaries until they quietly abandon facts. Audio works that feel like therapy sessions overheard through a wall. Text-on-screen pieces where typography becomes a mood regulator rather than a carrier of information. Nothing stays in its lane.
Replay introduces another imperfection, another lie layered on top of the original.
The format becomes familiar. It's already obsolete. Aesthetic DNA visually, it borrows from institutional spaces, clinics, waiting rooms, surveillance feeds, instructional tapes, religious broadcasts, corporate onboarding videos.
Psychological case studies, narrative-driven pieces framed as reports, confessions, or internal monologues. Characters spiral, rationalize, accuse, and self-diagnose. The language is intimate and invasive. These videos feel like overhearing thoughts you weren't meant to hear, and realizing they sound uncomfortably like your own. Biblical and mythic allegories corrupted. Familiar religious or mythic structures are dragged into institutional lighting. Angels become orderlies.
Aesthetics are culturally coded to imply authority, care, or truth. ArtFreak hijacks the trust and then destabilizes it. The viewer realizes too late they've been leaning on something that won't hold. Sound design is intimate to the point of discomfort. Breaths, mouth noise, room tone, hums, distortion that feels bodily rather than technical. Silence is used aggressively. When music appears, it's usually ritualistic or degraded, more mantra than melody.
Then reads like a diagnosis. Salvation is reframed as compliance.
These aren't faith critiques for shock value.
They're examinations of authority, obedience, and the human hunger for meaning even when it harms us.
The logic traditional narrative setup, conflict, resolution is treated as optional and often suspicious. Instead, pieces rely on accumulation, repetition with variation, contradictions that aren't resolved but stack. Meaning emerges the way patterns emerge in static, slowly, subjectively, and differently for everyone.
Parody with teeth. These pieces look funny until they aren't. Absurdity escalates.
Humor rots.
The joke keeps going long after it should have stopped. Parody here isn't relief, it's bait. You laugh, then realize what you agreed with while laughing.
Books don't guide interpretation. They provoke it, then refuse to confirm whether you did it right. Production philosophy control is partial by design. Glitches, errors, compression artifacts, misalignments, these aren't cleaned up unless they lie. If a flaw tells the truth about the process, it stays. If it merely decorates, it goes. This gives the work a runners that isn't sloppy, but expands. You can feel the hand on the material.
Experimental performance and ritual, highly stylized, sometimes wordless videos, repetition, strange gestures, unsettling pacing. They feel ceremonial but undefined, like watching a ritual whose purpose has been forgotten but whose steps are still compulsively followed. These pieces sit closer to performance art than narrative, and they're intentionally uncomfortable.
You can sense where something almost fell apart and didn't. Themes that recall identity under pressure, authority that speaks in soothing tones while doing harm, self mythologizing as survival, the thin line between care and control, performance masquerading as sincerity, and sincerity collapsing into performance.
Environmental and Atmos. Feric piece. Slow, quiet content.
Empty rooms, lingering shots, ambient sound.
The sense that something already happened and you arrived too late. These works aren't about events, they're about aftermath.
Importantly, the work doesn't moralize. It presents systems, forces, and rituals, then lets them incriminate themselves. Audience relationship ArtFreak doesn't aim for mass appeal. It aims for resonance. If 10 people watch something and 2 of them feel uncomfortably seen, that is a success. Confusion is acceptable. Discomfort is productive. Indifference is the only thing.
The clinic feels most alive here, watching, waiting, remembering.
The media isn't asking for agreement. It's asking for attention, and knows attention is never neutral. And it's cool. ArtFreak Production.
Rare but potent.
These videos break the illusion.
Just enough to suggest the production knows it's being watched. ArtFreak Productions comments on its own existence, its audience, its motives.
The effect isn't cleverness, it's paranoia.
The sense that participation was never optional.